Hi everyone, welcome on Monday. Today I have the pleasure to host Domenic Carosa, founder and chairman of Banxa Holdings, a payment service provider for the digital asset space. How are you, Domenic?
Very well, thank you, Mark, and thanks for having me on the program today.
It's my pleasure. Before we talk about Banxa, I just saw you started in the digital music sector in the late 90s and then moved to running a venture capital firm in 2008, and then got involved in the cryptocurrency in 2013. Why did you do that transition?
Good question. First and foremost, I'm a nerd at heart. I enjoy new technology and really looking at how to push the boundaries and disintermediate different types of asset classes or industries like the music industry or the venture capital industry. And I basically, the way I learn, I saw and heard about Bitcoin and crypto in 2013, and the way that I learn, I need to do in order to learn. So I bought some Bitcoin, I bought some mining equipment, and then 6 months later launched bitcoin.com.au, which is still a website running today in Australia selling Bitcoin. And so I always try and look at what's over the horizon, what's next in terms of the next new form of technology, like to a degree, like the internet, that is going to change the world. That's why I'm very passionate about what I do.
Because it's pretty crazy. If I'm not wrong, you were the youngest CEO on the Austrian security exchange. I gotta mention that, And then you were among your friend was the first one to involve in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. A few firsts there, and in fact, Bankster is the first PSP, payment service provider, RegTech company servicing digital assets anywhere in the world, and we're happily listed on the TSXV and the OTCQX.
Wow, this is amazing. And so, how did you have the idea of creating Banxa?
So after we launched bitcoin.com.au, we realized that, and maybe just to sort of take a step back, right now, for those people that have tried to log onto an exchange or convert their fiat money, when I say fiat, I mean US, Euro, Canadian dollars, into Bitcoin or Ethereum, it can be quite a complicated and daunting process. And so the whole philosophy around the company was, how do we make it really simple to onboard the masses, to help people, because most people today still exist in the fiat world. And so how do we make it really simple, not only for us as an organization, but our partners? And we call them partners. They're basically our customers, where we help them from a payments perspective and from a compliance, and particularly important these days, a compliance perspective. And so what Banxa does, just the easiest way to kind of look at Banxa is, we are the fiat on-ramps and the fiat off-ramps to the crypto industry. And we connect the digital world with the fiat world.
Okay, great. And because the cryptocurrency world's pretty, I can say brand new, but it's kind of new for a lot of investors. And there might be a lot that don't have the skill set to understand how it works. So how would you define a customer partner and payment partner, and why is it so important to have a lot of customer partners?
Yeah, and maybe what I'm going to do while I talk about partners, I'm just going to jump to a slide just to kind of help paint the picture with regards to what you're talking about. And just to sort of reiterate again, for those that haven't heard the story before, we're basically building the bridge between the fiat world and the digital asset world. We're an infrastructure provider. And the way to look at the ecosystem, on one side, you've got the exchanges. On the other side, you have the miners. And then you've got us that basically connect. And we're very much part of that whole infrastructure sector that is now evolving. And what we do, really, we do four core things. We bring together different payment methods, both global and local. We then wrap them with our regulatory and compliance layer, because today, to operate in the space, there are significant rules and regulations around the world. And every time a new country comes up with a new regulation, it's basically music to our ears, because it just means that customers need us even more, because we don't just do payments, we do payments and, really importantly, compliance. And then that's all underpinned by our technology platform. And I'm not going to get too geeky to talk about APIs and widgets and on-chain and off-chain. Suffice to say, it's our own homegrown technology over the last 7-8 years that basically runs the business, and it's highly scalable. And then what we do, we plug all of these smarts, payment smarts, compliance smarts, into global crypto to crypto exchanges and wallets around the world, like Binance and Huobi and KuCoin and many, many others. And we help them acquire more customers because we take care of payments, both global and local, as well as all the compliance on a local basis.
And so right now, could you tell me how many partners you have? And for the future, how many partners you plan to have?
Yeah. So to date, we have 70 customers.
Mm-hmm.
The universe of potential customers is in the thousands.
Ooh, okay.
We're targeting the top 300 or 400, of course. The 80-20 rule, Pareto principle, will usually apply in life and as well as in business. And that's very much our focus. So we've still got a long way to go. In terms of some of the key catalysts will be continue to add more coins, more payment methods, and more licenses around the world.
Okay, this is great. So they are basically unlimited opportunities, right?
Yeah, and the beauty of this sector is it's growing rapidly. So today, our core customers are exchanges and wallets. We know that there is significant growth in DeFi, sometimes called decentralized finance. And we've also seen some very significant growth in the NFT world. And so this is where the Banxa platform can fit in. So what we'll effectively already allow you to do through one of our partners, an ability to go from fiat straight into a coin, a DeFi coin that allows you to generate a yield without you having to be a technical genius and go from Bitcoin to Ethereum to basically some coin, whether it's a stable coin or other. And so we effectively take out that complexity for our customers and our customers' customers, of course.
Wow, this is amazing. And so for the business to business, you generate revenues by getting fees on each transaction made, right? And in the future, do you have any other plans to bring more revenues?
Yes, yeah. So I guess there's a couple of key things here that I just want to sort of talk about, and that is, I'm just once I'm able to share my screen, I'll basically do so. And what we do is that we effectively clip the ticket. We basically charge a fee, a percentage-based fee, in order to effectively provide our services. And the reason that exchanges use us is because it's no cost to them in terms of getting set up, and we help them acquire more companies, more customers. Because the way typical crypto to crypto exchanges make money is by when you trade a BTC ETH pair or a BTC USDT pair, they make money on that. And where the rules and regulations really kick in is around fiat to crypto and crypto to fiat transactions. And as I like to say, in terms of transaction value, at least from an Aussie perspective, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. And this is our actual total transaction value. This is a measure that we communicate to the market on a regular basis that basically shows the market what we're doing. And in the June quarter, we did just shy of 300 million TTV, which was up from 200 million the prior quarter and up 100 million from the December quarter. So as you can see, some fairly nice growth in the business as we continue to scale and the market continues to evolve.
Okay, so this is just for the business to business. And I was wondering, do you have a business to customer service?
So we do own, in fact, a large portfolio of Bitcoin domain names, like bitcoin.co.uk, .co.ca for Canada, .eu for Europe, .com.au for Australia. And that's really not our core. That's partly legacy, because that's really how we started off in B2C and then moved the business into B2B because it was a much larger global opportunity. All I'll say is watch this space with regards to those particular assets, and we're currently exploring ways to extract value for all Banxa shareholders.
Okay. And now I just would like to talk about the fundamentals, because when I invest in a company, I mostly take a look at the fundamentals, how is the percentage held by insiders, the EBITDA, this type of thing. And when I was checking Banxa, I was pretty impressed. When I saw that, 25% is held by all insiders, and EBITDA profit increased to 1 million, almost 10 million in cash. So first of all, this is great. This is awesome, and moreover, like for an emerging company. And when we see all these great fundamentals, I saw 51 million fully diluted shares. Could we see any acquisition to expand faster?
Yeah, acquisitions are certainly on the radar. Right now, they're not the focus. And just to give you a bit of an update, we released some unaudited results not that long ago, a couple of weeks ago on the exchange. And they were just because we work on a 30th of June financial year, and we had just under 700 million of transaction value, which represented just over 40 million of revenue. And for that time, we actually made a very small loss. But as you mentioned, that's for the full year. But for the March quarter, we actually made $1 million underlying EBITDA profit. And we had $24 million of cash and cash equivalents on the balance sheet. That was as of 30th of June. So the business is quite well funded. And right now, it's just a matter of organic growth. And the reason I say this is we are basically got significant growth. Every time there's some kind of regulatory issue in a particular country or something going on, we have an influx of partners or potential customers contacting us saying, please help us through this regulatory minefield, as well as your payments. And so every time we see these articles, some investors get a little bit shy. And the way that I look at it, every time one of these articles comes out, I think, cha-ching, it's validating what we're doing as an organization and the purpose of why we're here for global crypto to crypto exchanges.
Okay, and as you say, the company is pretty brand new on the Toronto Stock Venture Exchange. And when you were talking about organic growth, could we see Banxa in a bigger exchange in the future?
Yeah, that's also on our roadmap. So we listed on the TSXV under code BNXA and also BNXAF on the OTCQX. The objective over the next sometime in 2022 is to dual list on NASDAQ. My view is that Banxa belongs on NASDAQ. I can't tell you whether it's going to be the first half or the second half. Suffice to say, that is on our roadmap. And the beauty is, and this is one of the many reasons why we listed on the TSXV, is once you list there for 12 months, there's a process, like a fast track process to NASDAQ. And so in January 2022, we would have been listed for 12 months. And so then we can fast track any point after that. I can't say any more from a timing perspective other than watch your space.
Wow, honestly, this is crazy, because when you see like how long the company has been listed and the fundamentals, the cash it has, just about that is crazy when you're talking about that growth. And basically you have to wait the 12 months time frame because you have to. Yeah, honestly, this is very amazing. But after, according to the prices ratio, just talking about the stock price, you're still pretty undervalued, the prices ratio is how many times the shares traded compared to the revenues. And I was pretty intrigued, and I was curious, and I was checking Banxa, and I was comparing to other competitors. And when I was checking Voyager Digital, it was traded at 34.5 prices ratio, Mogo at 13, and big digital at 23. And Banxa is only at 4.5. So I checked this morning, so maybe that changed a little bit. Maybe it's at 5 now. But I was wondering, and I'm questioning you, how do you think you could bring Banxa to its real fair value?
Yeah, I think you've, once again, I'm going to use an Australian saying that you've hit the nail on the head, which basically means I think you're spot on with regards to what you said. And personally, and obviously, I believe we're undervalued as a major shareholder in the company. And we still have so much work to do and so much opportunity out there. But at the same time, we're also conscious. We listed the company in January this year. So we're the new kids on the block. Most investors haven't even heard about Bankster before.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to take time to build trust, reputation, and the brand out in the marketplace. So that's obviously, like doing events like this and speaking to you and your team of investors and obviously just getting out there and communicating the story. And at the same time, it also takes investors a little bit of time to just get their head around crypto.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it now for, since 2013. And even sometimes I get a little bit confused with some of the technology because it's moving so quickly, DeFi, NFTs, and that whole ecosystem. And I understand why people feel maybe a little bit apprehensive. And what I basically say to people is just go and buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or go and buy an NFT. Just try the process. And once you do that, you will have this aha moment around, now I understand why this industry is growing so rapidly. It's, in my view, as fundamental as the internet was in the mid-90s. It's that fundamental.
Okay. And so with all the great things you told me about Banxa, about the future, and this is going to be my final question, where would you see Banxa in the future? When I say future, it's like 7 years, long future, because we just talk short term, NASDAQ, like short term price. But even if we don't talk about the share price, how big would you see Banxa?
Personally, I think we can be a multi-unicorn, is my personal view. That's from a market cap perspective. But taking a step back from there and really sort of painting the picture, my view is pretty simple. This is kind of my view from an investor's perspective. If you believe the hypothesis that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the whole crypto ecosystem is only going to continue growing, and what we know today is that most people effectively live in the fiat world, the US, Euro, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar world. And as more and more people migrate from the fiat world into the digital asset world, my vision is to have banks there effectively providing the infrastructure behind the scenes, effectively helping people and companies migrate from the fiat world to the digital asset world and back again, the fiat on ramps, the fiat off ramps on a fully compliant, regulated basis, and at the same time being able to consume other products and services like borrowing and lending, interest-bearing accounts. So that's the long-term objective for me. Payments and what we're doing right now and regulations, that's layer one. Then there's all these other services over the top that we can basically fit in. It's like, it took 10 years for the blockchain to really start getting embedded in the marketplace. And in the last couple of years, we've had DeFi. In the last 6 months, we've had NFTs. Mm-hmm. What's next? And so the whole mission around Bankster is really connecting the two and being the infrastructure, as important as the ISPs and Cisco were in the internet in the mid-90s, where the whole networks were being established. And so just to kind of like complete the loop, if you believe the hypothesis that this industry is going to grow, companies like Banxa that are connecting the old world with the new world, in my view, will be the companies that will prosper.
Oh, this is amazing. Honestly, now I want to see what's going to happen in the future. But still, Domenic, thank you a lot for your time. It was such a pleasure to talk with you, to discover more about Banxa. And personally, I'm very excited to see what Banxa will bring in the future.
Thanks for having me again, Mark. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.